Hi, this is DH Dunn, and welcome to a little off-week update. I am I am on my way back from dropping some stuff off at the dump, and I figured, hey, this is a good 10-15 minutes of a drive here, and we're a week out from my normal newsletter. Let's just throw a little update up there, talk about how things are going. Let's talk about where we're at, where we're going, and what's going on. So basically, since I started doing video updates and things on YouTube, which is pretty much right around the first of this year, we've talked about nothing but Shades of the Sea. And Shades of the Sea is still front and center, but this is the very last week that it will be, because at this time next week, it will be released. It will be out, which is crazy to think about for a book that I have had with me for such a long period of time. The very original version of Shades of the Sea actually predates any of my Everest books. That is not the version you'll be reading. This was rewritten from the ground up, partially last year and then partially now. And its current state is pretty much complete. I like to joke that books are never finished, but they are done. Haha. But, the truth is that a book isn't like a car or, building a wall or painting a wall. Like, there's a point with a lot of projects, there's a point where you're complete. And books don't really work that way, at least not for me. There always feels like more you could do. And yet, you definitely run the risk of over-polishing and polishing off all of the interesting parts. And I'm also a big believer in the strength of my first drafts. I feel like your first impression is usually right. So I try to maintain as much of the first draft as I can, and just, kind of clean it up and embellish it and put some more meat on the bone. So this is really, the point I'm at right now is my final pass. This is my release pass. So this is crossing the I's and dotting, no, you dot I's. This is dotting the I's and crossing the T's. There is one more little bit of content I want to write for it. I always have a scene or two that I throw in at the last minute, and consistently, those scenes end up being scenes that I have people come back to me later and say, wow, I really loved that moment. So, you never know. The last thing I wrote for Dragons of Everest was a scene between Drew and Nima. That's very early in the book, where Drew gives Nima a haircut. And I've had people comment on that scene to me. I love that scene. So I trust my instincts. I've got one more thing that I want to put in there, and time permitting, I've got a whole weekend. I'll get it in there. And it will be there as part of the, if I do it right, it will be a seamless part of the whole. So right now, it's just going through each chapter, making sure, I'm making sure that I've addressed all of my, I got it back from the editor, so addressing her comments, addressing my first reader, Amy Kaczynski's comments, doing silly things like, making sure that people don't stand up when they were already standing, or people's eye colors don't change, or the sun rises 3 times in one scene, which I did once. So just things like that. For all intents and purposes, the book is done. I expect to upload it to Amazon Monday, Tuesday at the latest. It will also be available for the ARC readers who had requested it at that time. If you are interested in ARC read of the book, shoot me an email over the weekend, dhd@dhdunn.com, and you can get a free look at this ahead of time. It also lets me know who's actually listening to these YouTube things. So that's where we're at with Shades. The only other major thing to do with it is the map. I do feel this book needs a map. Fantasy maps are a staple of fantasy books, but I don't really write the kind of fantasy books that usually need them. Because I write such A to B books where people are just constantly traveling from one place to another. And I feel like maps are more needed when the same locations are visited multiple times so that you can understand where they are in relation to each other. This book has way more of that. This is a mystery, and so there are, crime scenes and murder locations and stuff that are visited multiple times. And so I felt like it needed a map the budget to have a map commissioned just isn't there. And I decided to do the map myself, so over the weekend I want to polish that up. I want it to look as good as it can look. So I'll be happy to take feedback from folks who check it out. I'm probably going to post the map to Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, the completed version. So if you follow me in any of those locations, then you can see it there. That's pretty much it for Shades of the Sea. By next week, I will be fully entrenched in the next book, which I have already started, which is the next Aethermancer book, Heart of Storms. I really am not going to talk much about it at all, because I don't want to give anything away for Shades. But I'm really excited, and I'm excited about how this series is shaping out and how structurally I'm doing it differently than the Everest series, which was very arc-focused. So like the first 3 Everest books form an arc, the next 4 Everest books are part of an arc. Aethermancer is more set up to be like a TV show, in that there's an overarching plot, but each book is an episode. And so there'll be a problem, there'll be something that's being worked on in that episode. Characters will deal with their issues and maybe survive and maybe not in an episode, and then the larger story gets pushed forward. I do have somewhere I'm going with Aethermancer. I do know where I want this to go, but it could be. I'm excited about how many stories I could tell inside this world. So, certainly gauging by response to it, I'll go as far as people are interested in hearing about it. So that's the next 2 projects are more Aethermancer. Following that is going to be a return to Everest for this year's anthology, similar to Talents and Threads from last year. So there'll be a new novella in there that I will reveal here for the first time, is a novella focused on Silne and Odan. And Silne gets the cover. I have the cover done, so we'll get to see what Silne looks like. And she's such a fun, fiery character, so I'm excited. These 2 just broken people. I'm very excited to put them in a mix and have fun with them. Writing Silne Odan scenes is just incredibly easy because they are just fun together. So, those gasoline fire characters are just awesome. Beyond that, now we're getting into plans that are more in pencil than pen, but there will be some urban fantasy coming later this year, and not starring Alex Queen, which was the original plan, but starring a different character. I do have the covers for that as well. I have the first book's cover, and I have cover slots with that cover artist for the rest of it. So we'll see where that goes. That's pretty much it on the book side. I do have a short story that I'd really like to get done. I also am looking to get another narration out there. If you haven't seen, we have both Blood Packets and Cracks and Crevices are available as audiobooks on the channel, and I am looking into doing an audiobook myself of Dragons of the Interstate. So I'm playing around with that. We'll see how that goes. So those will be available free on the channel as always. I have also thought about recording the first chapter or 2 chapters of Shades of the Sea and putting those on the YouTube channel. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear back from folks as to, what you think of the content that I'm putting up on YouTube and what you'd like to see. Hey, I'm here for you. Speaking of YouTube content, just a brief update on the game series for those who are following that. Right now, we have Darkest Dungeon, goes basically every day. That's the one that I try to make sure I get in. I generally stream that on Twitch 6:30, most nights between 6:30 7 o'clock. Don't be intimidated by the chapter numbers. That's a very easy jump in and watch a show. There's not an ongoing storyline per se. It's really just watching me struggle to keep these poor people alive through all the challenges that game throws at me. People who follow those episodes have told me that some of the recent ones have been the most dramatic of the series. So if you want to check it out, episode 88 from last week was pretty crazy. On top of that, I have a rotating series in the second slot. I am doing Adenzia from Shades of the Sea, and she's starring in Oblivion, which is a classic old open world fantasy game. I'm not doing the story on that, as Z and I are just running around the countryside doing whatever trouble we get into. I have Stranded Deep, which is Drew Adley from Fractured Everest, and I was going to stop that one because I'm trying to focus more on the Shades characters, but it's just too much damn fun. Drew is hilarious in that series, and trying to figure out how to keep him alive and get him rescued off his desert island has been a lot of fun. So I look forward to playing that. And then the third is Heroes of Might and Magic, which is a strategy game, and I'm running various different DH done characters through that. Right now we're doing a series with Lamu from Fractured Everest. It's the first time I've done anything with Lamu, so that's been fun. So if you enjoyed the gaming stuff, I'd love it if you check it out. And I think that's it. Guys, we've got 7 days to go as I'm pulling into my neighborhood here. 7 days to go till Shades of the Sea. Every time I put a book out, it feels like I never thought I would get here. So I'm so excited to bring it to you. And, just a few more days and I'll be uploading it and we'll be working on the next one. So that's going to do it. Stay safe. Take care of each other. Thank you so much for your support. And I will see you next time.